Hello there. Very good evening to all the participants here. We are now live. Live feed is actually from a SEGI group of colleges. I just want to get something from your side there. Can you give a comment? Say hi. At least I see your response here. Hello, guys. Can you see? Just say hi. All right. Okay, I just want to inform you guys. Okay, this is actually a delayed, probably 5 seconds to 5 seconds to 10 seconds. All right, just bear with us and welcome. We are not just start. We have to still waiting for other participants to come in. Now it's only 4:27. Still got 3 more minutes, right, to start. Okay. I'm very sure some of you are actually listen to yesterday's talk by this Dr. Gerald. I hope you guys actually enjoy yesterday. And today's topic is actually a new topic by Mr. Krishna, our speaker. I will introduce you guys later on. We're going to start at 4:30 p.m. All right. And today's topic is actually using Web 2.0 tools, a practical approach for online discussion and sharing with Zoom. Okay, this is our today's topic at 4:30 p.m. sharp. It's going to be a 1 hour. So get ready your pen, okay, writing pad, and probably you want to jot down some good points. And also you can actually ask questions, right? You can comment there. We'll try our very best, right, to help you guys to answer. Right, the speaker will answer the questions. Very sorry if let's say we miss out some of the questions. Okay, I can see some of you guys say hi. At least I wanted to be assured that you guys can listen. Right, able to listen. The voice is okay. Okay. Let us wait for another 2 more minutes. We start. Okay, you guys can actually comment and write anything about. You can comment about yesterday's event. Some of you attended and some of you not. But if you are not attended yesterday's event, you can actually go to our YouTube channel. Yes, you can comment. How was yesterday's event? Hope you guys enjoy. Some of you actually attended yesterday's event by Dr. Gerald. Okay, welcome to Segi College Subang Jaya. Okay, I am actually a host for today's host. I'm Keen from Segi College Subang Jaya, and welcome to this Segi group of colleges webinar. Okay, say hi everyone here. Okay, we're going to start very soon now. I see I have a lot of participants coming in ready. Okay, if possible, if you think that this webinar is good for your friends, maybe you can click on your YouTube right share button there. You can share it up with your friends. Okay, we can actually okay, this is a live feed from Segi group of colleges. Okay, today's topic is about using Web 2.0 tools, a practical approach for online discussion and sharing with Zoom. Okay, the speaker today is actually Mr. Krishna. Okay, I'm going to introduce you Mr. Krishna profile. Okay, before that, I have a soft reminder, right, to all the participants here. Okay, any questions can be asked in the live chat room. Moderators will try to to respond from time to time. Okay, you can ask using the comment there during a live chat. You can comment any questions. We try our level best to answer. Okay, in case we miss out, right? In case we miss out, then probably you just bear with us because this is too many response here. Okay, and the Q&A questions will also be open in the last 10 minutes. Don't worry, we will open the Q&A questions to all the viewers here. And the last one is actually the attendance evaluation form, okay, for digital certificate. At the end of the sessions, right, we're going to give you a link, and this link will be provided after the webinar ended. Okay, you can go to the link there and you key in your particulars. It's just an attendance form and also evaluation form. So what happened is that you just key in for your certifications. Okay, I'm going to introduce you this Mr. Krishna. Okay, he's a very, very experienced lecturer for the past 15 years in education. Okay, he's actually holding a position of head of academic at Segi College, Penang. So actually, I'm hosting here in Selangor, right? And our speaker is actually in Penang, Segi College, Penang. I come from Segi College, Subang Jaya, right? So we are doing this virtually live. It's a live feed, okay? It's a live feed. And participants, I just want to highlight to all the viewers here. Some of you come as far as Sabah. If you are actually from Sabah, you can say, hi, I'm from Sabah. Okay, you can comment there. Some of you are from Sarawak. So as far as Perlis, Kedah, we have people from Johor. So nationwide teachers are actually joining this webinar. Okay, and we also have international participation. You just say hi. Okay, say hi. Okay, say hi, and just put your this comment there. I'm from probably from Pakistan, from Maldives. Okay, from Middle East. You can just say hi to our Malaysian friends here. Okay, I can see the comments from Penang, Sabah, Sarawak. Yeah, it's very good. Keep it up. So I come back to this. Krishna is actually 15 years of experience. Our speaker is Mr. Krishna today, right? And he has taken up many projects as lead at this Segi College Penang, especially in teaching and learning, where he's fully responsible for the LMS, okay, learning management system, Blackboard, blended learning, and flipped classroom. And he also academic quality assurance and delivery and quality management system. He also plays a very important role for the ISO certifications, right? And he also a certified trainer, qualified as a trainer. So here we are. Today, we welcome this Mr. Krishna as our speaker, right? Over to you, Mr. Krishna.
Thank you, Ken. Hi, everyone. Hi, all the educators. How are you? Hope you guys are having a very peaceful and wonderful time at home. And also, first of all, I think I have to congratulate all of you for being so participative in all our webinars that we have conducted, especially the one that we have done yesterday. It was wonderful, and we have a lot of good feedback from you guys. Thank you and salute for you on your participation. And I'm also very amazed to see all of you guys are willing to learn during this period of time. So another big round of clap to all of you for joining us and continuously supporting us in all our webinars and also future webinars to come. So thank you very much. So how are you all going on for today? Good at this point of time? All right. So I believe that all of you are doing good. All of you are in a good state of health. And let us just start our program here, all right, for today. And also hi to quite a number of people who are coming, who are joining us as far as from Sabah, Sarawak, Kedah, Penang, and so on and so forth. So hi to all of you. All right. So let us just quickly start our webinar for today. Now, all of us are fully aware that we are under movement control order. And I think our PM is already decided that we are going to extend our MCO for another 2 more weeks. Now, our biggest challenge as an educator is on how to conduct classes, how to keep in touch with our students, especially during this period of time. Am I right? So it has been very challenging on how we can actually teach, how we can actually engage with our students, especially during COVID outbreak. And a lot of students are basically left unattended. So today's webinar is basically to introduce you a special tool as what we call it as Zoom, so that we are kind of familiar with all the functions, and also we can learn on how to use our Zoom to conduct classes and also to engage with our students in online environment. All right. So that is the main purpose of today's webinar. So are you all okay with this? So if you're okay, can I see some yes? Can I see some thumbs up or some yes from you guys on this today's webinar? All right, so we can see some input from some of you. All right, so while waiting for all your input, so let us just quickly start. I'm going to share my screen with you guys on what we are going to cover for today. And from there, we are going to move on with our content of our webinar today. So in case if you have any questions, in case if you have any doubts to clarify, you can always use your live comment to type out your doubts and your questions. All right, so we will answer as your questions or your doubts comes in. All right, so let us start. I'll share a screen with you. All right, so I believe all of you can see my screen here. So welcome all of you to using Web 2.0 tools, a practical approach for online discussion and sharing with Zoom. So educators, teachers, so this is basically what we are going to cover today. So we are going to learn how to use Zoom and how we are going to use Zoom for our online classes and also to engage with our students. So in today's webinar, I'm going to cover several topics, especially we are going to look into account activation, how to activate our account in Zoom, how to update our profiles in Zoom, and what is the meaning of personal meeting ID, and how we can actually integrate our calendar into our Zoom application. Now, besides that, I'm also going to cover how we can actually play around when it comes to Zoom settings. Like, for example, how to schedule a meeting, what is the basic and advanced setting, and what do you mean by email notification. So from there onwards, I'm going to actually cover up on how we can actually set up meetings or how we can actually set up online classes. And once we are actually in those classes, online classes, we are going to look into some basic functions of Zoom. For example, how do we manage participants? How do we chat with our participants? How do we react, or how do we give reaction to some input from our participation? And from there, we go on with recording, share screen, how do we control participants, and also we can look into how we can actually share files. And at last part of the webinar, we are going to cover on how this Zoom app actually works and how we can simplify our online classes. So are you all clear on this at this moment? So I believe you are. So let us just quickly move on to our first discussion. Of course, it will be good if I can get some input from you guys, especially on certain matters that I'm going to post in a short while. All right. So let us just quickly look into our first discussion. I want you guys to think about whether you guys have actually used Zoom in any of your classes. I mean, whether it is before MCO or after MCO. If you guys have used if you have used Zoom for your classes, I would like you to share your experiences with me. Whether you have good experiences or whether you have bad experiences, or if you have used any other tools besides Zoom, you can also share in your live comment so that we know what are your experience like, and from there we can actually move our webinars accordingly. So can we just have some input from you guys in terms of your input on your experience by using Zoom? So I can see some says that they have not used, some says that they are using Google Meet, some says that they have used Zoom and it seems to be good, all right? So a lot of input are coming in, and some also have used Skype, but unfortunately Skype have delayed transmission. Some also admitted that you guys are using Google Classroom and Microsoft Teams. Wow, that is really good for you to move forward on how to use different tools on online classes. All right. So quite a number of them are not have not used Zoom at all. So Shakira did mention that she have used Zoom and she also have given her comment. All right. All right, so looks like some of you have some experience with Google Classroom. Some of you have experience with Zoom. Some of you have also experience with some other tools, which is good. All right. Now, for those of you who have used Zoom, probably this seminar, you can actually take it as an experience, and you can also keep on sharing your experiences and also your input in live comment. And those who haven't used Zoom at all, maybe this webinar is going to be helpful to give you some practical insight on how you guys can carry on with Zoom, especially in terms of setting up Zoom meeting and also how you can go for live classes. All right. Now, before the webinar started, I also have some questions from some of you saying that whether Zoom is safe, whether Zoom is secure or no. Now, regarding the security part on whether Zoom is safe or no, I think we will try to cover this topic towards the end of our webinar. Maybe we just quickly start on how to use the Zoom first. Are you all okay with this? All right. Yeah, Michelle, I do understand you have the concern on whether Zoom is safe or no. I will get back to you when it comes to the end, towards the end of the webinar. All right. So let us start with our webinar today, especially on Zoom, right? So I'm going to share screen so that I can go through with you on how to use Zoom slowly, steadily, so that you can follow. And those who can actually practice it at the same time, please do so, all right? So if I'm too fast or you can't catch up, please let us know as well, all right? So I'm going to share my screen now. All right, guys. So this is Zoom website. So those who have used Zoom, I'm pretty sure you are fully aware of this particular website. Those who haven't used Zoom before, you really have to go to zoom.us, whereby you are coming to this particular website. Now, under this website, you have a lot of options. Like, for example, what are the solutions provided by Zoom? What are plans and pricing by Zoom? And also you have some other options like joining a meeting, hosting a meeting, and so on and so forth. So for first timers who are using Zoom, I would suggest that you have to do a sign up for free. So when you click sign up for free, all right, it will basically lead you to a page whereby it will ask you to verify your date of birth. So once you key in your month, your day, your year, you will be actually prompted to another page whereby it will actually ask you to key in some information, especially your email. Now, once you have key in your email, you will definitely get an email to your account, to your email account, asking you to activate your Zoom account, something like this. All right. So I have done it earlier, and Zoom actually sent me an email to ask me to activate the account. So once you have activated the account, from there onwards, they will ask you for username, they will ask you for password, and once you fill in all these details, then you will be able to access to your account. All right. Something like this. All right. So once you have your email, once you have your password, your job is to just to sign in into your Zoom account. Okay, so when you guys are in Zoom account, there are few things that you really have to take note. First thing is your profile. The next menu will be meeting, webinars, recording, and setting. So I'm going to go through each and every one with you guys so that we can understand in detail what are the functions that we have in each and every things over here, so that you know how you can actually go on with it. All right. So first of all, as usual, your profile. All right. If you are a first time joining the account, of course your profile picture or photo will be empty, so you can basically put in your profile or your pictures over there. Now next thing is we have to take note is on personal meeting ID. Now what is this personal meeting ID? In case if we are going to have immediate meeting, or if you want to conduct an ad hoc classes, you can always use this personal meeting ID to conduct your meeting, or you can conduct your classes. Right, so that is why we have this personal meeting ID. And this is your sign in email as what you have put in when you register for the account. So your user type is basic. All right, now when it comes to basic, your capacity is only about 100 participants, and on top of that you can only have your classes for about 40 minutes maximum. So I hope you all understand this, because it is actually a free functions or a free plan, so it has some limitation. For example, your capacity is 100 and your time limit is 40 maximum. So language is not a problem. Date and time you can actually select wherever you are, and make sure it is according to the date in which you are in. All right. And the next thing I would like to highlight is on the calendar and contact integration. Right now, Zoom also has a feature whereby you can actually authorize your calendar, so that any meetings that you have scheduled, it will be directly parked into your calendar, meaning that once you have created your meeting, you will be able to see those meeting in your calendar. So that is how we can integrate our calendar and contact into our email. So this is your sign in password. You can definitely see what are those things, and this is your host key. You can also see what is your host key is all about, and in fact you can actually make changes on that. All right, so these are some basic profile information that as a lecturer or as a teacher we have to know before we can even start to set up our meeting. All right, so let me move on with our meeting. All right, so for meeting menu, we have few tabs here. We have upcoming meetings, previous meeting, personal meeting room, and meeting templates. And this button is the most important button for all of us to understand. Why? Because when you click this button, you will be able to set up a new meeting. So before I can actually go into how to set up a new meeting, I will quickly move on to how we can do some settings into our meeting. All right. So I will move on to meeting, and then I'll come back to meetings and see how we can actually look into scheduling our new meeting here. So let us move on to our settings. All right. Now, when it comes to meeting settings, there are a lot of things. As you can see, when you are browsing top to bottom, there are a lot of things that you can do as part of your setting. So I'm going to go through the important ones, and we can see why we have to make it activated, why we have to activate, and why we have to reset those settings. So the first thing is host video. All right, so they have given you some explanation here saying that start meeting with host video on. So please make sure that this is activated. Why? Because when you start a meeting, you want to show your face, you want to show your video to your participant. So we always have to make sure that this particular setting is selected. Okay. So next one is participant video. All right. Now, this one is actually an optional, whether you want participants to have their video on or you want their video to be off. So assume that I want the participants video to be on. So I will just click this. I just choose this button to activate it. All right. If I don't want the participants video to be on, then I just deactivate it. All right, something like this. So of course I want to see my participants, so I will just activate this particular settings here. All right, so audio type, at this moment it is always good for us to choose computer audio, so that we can listen to the participants, and participants also will be able to listen to us. Now, next important setting is join before host. Now, a lot of you did ask me how secure is Zoom and whether Zoom can be hacked or whatsoever, right? So one of the features that you can ensure that Zoom is safe and secure is not to activate this particular setting, meaning that you have to make sure you sign in as a host first before you can even allow your participants to join. All right. So for me, I always like participants to join after I join. So I actually deactivate this particular setting. All right. Hope you guys can follow up. If you have any questions, if you have any doubts, please type out your doubts and question in live comment. I will go back and then I will try my best to answer all your questions, or in fact some of your questions, right? So personal ID is nothing much here. So you can actually leave it as default. All right, let us look at this. Only authenticated user can join meeting from web client, right? So this is where participants need to authenticate prior to joining meeting from the web client. So always choose this because you want to know who is joining your meeting. This is actually to make sure your meeting is safe and your meeting is not attended by unwanted participants. So make sure this is activated as well. Now, another important security features in Zoom is password. Please make sure that you always activate your password whenever you are scheduling a meeting. This has to be done in order to make sure your meeting is secure and it is also not going to be hacked by any unwanted participants at the end of the day. All right. So anything to do with password, make sure it is activated so that it is secure at the end of the day. All right. So require password for personal meeting ID. Make sure it is also selected. All right. So the rest you can always leave it as default. All right. So another important feature is meeting reminder. All right. So if you wish to give reminder to your participants that, hey, meeting is going to start in another 15 minutes or in another 30 minutes, then this is the function that you have to start activating it. All right. All right. So these are all your basic settings that I'm going to go through with you one by one. This one you can leave it as default. This is on chatting. All right. So when you are conducting your classes online or when you are having meeting online, it is always good for you to enable the chat room so that when you are giving your talk or when you are presenting something, participants can actually chat with you at the same time. So always make sure this is enabled, and also make sure always the private chat is also enabled, right? Auto saving is not so important, so you can actually disable it. And play sound. All right, so play sound is up to you guys. If you want to have some kind of sound when participants leave or join your meeting, then you can enable it. If you do not wish to hear those kind of sound or beeping sound, then you can actually disable it. So not a big issue. Okay, file transfer for me and also for some of the teachers, I think it is still important for us to enable it. Why? Because from time to time there are a lot of file sharing can take place. Like for example, if you are a teacher, you may want to share some of your file with your students, and you also want students to share files with you. So always make sure that this file transfer is enabled so that sharing of files can actually take place here. All right. Feedback to Zoom, it's okay. You can leave it as default, and all these things you can leave it as default. You also want to show the meeting control toolbar, all right? So you can always make it as, you can always enable it, all right? So that you can always have the control toolbar over there and you can start using it, all right? Now, another important feature is show Zoom window during screen share, all right? So this one, you can actually leave it as disable. You can disable it so that you don't always show the Zoom windows during your screen share, right? But you always have to make sure you are enabling the screen sharing, right? But then over here, you have some options here. Who can share? So if you wish to only if you only want yourself to share it, then you can actually choose this. If you want all the participants to share it, then you can actually choose this particular option. All right. So let's say I want everyone to share it, but then I want to control it. So meaning that you can always choose all participants here, and you can choose host only on this particular site. All right. You can save, and this setting will be saved whenever you are scheduling a meeting. All right. So disable desktop or screen share for user. So you can actually activate this. You can enable this. Annotation you can also enable, but later on I will teach you on how you can actually control this. Whiteboard you can always enable, so that if you have something like you want to share with your student on mind map, or you want to share with your student on some concept, and you want to scribble something, then this whiteboard feature will be definitely helpful for you. All right. So remote control you can always enable. Non-verbal feedback you can enable it, so that if there is any icon, thumbs up or clap icon is there, your participants can actually use it to actually give you comments, especially the non-verbal feedbacks, right? So you can actually keep on moving, all right? And all these are settings that you can actually have, all right? So for advanced level, most probably all these things you can disable. And if you want to have some interesting background rather than plain white background, you can always enable your virtual background. So you can have something moving behind you, something much more interesting to see, especially for your participants. Uh, why? Because you already enable your virtual background behind you. All right. So I would like to use virtual background because it is quite interesting, and participants like it. So you can always enable your virtual background over here. So the rest you can actually leave it disabled, right? Waiting room, right? Now I need to tell you about waiting room. Why? Because we cannot automatically register or accept all the participants into our meeting as they come in. All right. So it is always good for us to put them into waiting room, so that we can admit them into our meeting as they come in. All right. So that whoever we know, we admit them or we put them into our meeting room. This is basically to avoid unwanted person to be in our meeting and also create all kind of problem. So this is the reason why we always have to activate, or we always have to enable our waiting room. All right. So from there, you can look into email notification. So when attendees join meeting before the host, you can always get the system to send you an email saying that attendees are waiting. All right. So this one you can always enable it. And when the meeting is cancelled, for example, you can always ask the system to send you an email whenever the meeting is cancelled. So you can also enable this particular function, right? And the rest of it you can just leave it as default as possible, right? So that is basically for settings. All right. So in order for all of us to have a very secured Zoom session, it is important for us to have waiting room. It is always important for us to have password, and also it is very important for us to know who is joining and who are the unwanted participants into our Zoom meeting, so that you can actually mute them or you can actually remove them and try not to get them back into your meeting. All right. So, so that is basically on setting. All right. So do we have any questions so far on this part? Can I see some feedback from you guys if there is any questions, so that I can answer your question and I can actually move forward, especially in scheduling the meeting. So far, are you all clear in terms of Zoom and also how to do settings for your Zoom meeting? I need to wait for a few seconds for you to give me some feedback. Debbie, to answer your question, I think you posed a question, is the password keep on changing if we use Zoom? Password is actually up to you, all right? You can use the default password or you can actually change based on your own password, all right? So there is a function whereby you can actually set your own password. No problem on this, all right? So you just give a try. I think when I schedule the meeting later, I will explain to you how you can change your password according to what you want, all right? So any other questions? Yes, Emily, I got your question here. Sorry, I had a question. No, sorry. All of us are learning, all of us are sharing. So please shoot as much question as you can so that I can answer. Can we mute the speaker sound in Zoom in our side during the meeting? Emily, definitely yes. No worries on that. So I'm going to demonstrate on you on how you can mute in short while. So just follow my webinar. I'm pretty sure you can learn on that. All right, Emily, good to go? Thanks, Emily. Thanks for your question. Any other questions, guys? Sim my Q, if I got your name right. Yes, password is basically to protect your meeting session and also to protect your participants, right? So it is always advisable for you guys to set password whenever you schedule a meeting, all right? So that it is not hacked and you can protect the security of your meeting. Um, I think Tan Siu Ying actually posed a question there. Sir, do we need all participants' email? If can, it is good for you to have all the participants' email. If you have their contact number and if you have if you have your WhatsApp chat room, you can get the link of your meeting and you can share it over there. All right. Daniel did ask a question. Can we see people in waiting room? Daniel, the answer is yes, definitely yes. You can see a lot of people waiting and you can actually admit them one by one, or you can admit all of them in one shot. So it's not a big problem when it comes to seeing student in waiting room. Normally we call it as lobby, or we can also call it as waiting room. Okay. How long it will take to set up this tool? Jis Vita, if I got your name right, it's very fast. You can just do it within a very short period of time. And once you already schedule your meeting, and once you have set your date and your time, you can immediately start your meeting. I'm going to demonstrate to you guys in short while on this. But before I can go on, I just want to clarify your questions, right? Okay, any other questions? Sorry guys, I can't answer all your questions, but we will try to answer as much as possible. Will the virtual background keep on changing as the meeting progresses? Very, very good question. In fact, I like your question very much. At this moment, if you have choose one particular virtual background, the virtual background will actually stay unless you go and change. right? But if you have any videos whereby the background can actually change from time to time, yes, it will change accordingly. Later, I will demonstrate one of my virtual background, and you can see that the virtual background is basically is not changing as long as I don't change the web background, the virtual background on myself. I mean myself. Okay. Any other questions? Emeline, I like your question. You did ask if I got hacked during hearing to Zoom, any solution? Now, at this moment, the hacking, of course, there are a lot of news about hacking and also about security in Zoom. But if you are using Zoom for your classes and you are actually conducting classes for a small group of participants, it is actually safe to go. So you don't have to worry much on this. It is definitely safe to go. Just make sure that your meeting is password protected, and also make sure that in your classes you don't share any private and confidential information. So otherwise it is safe to go and it is also good to go. All right. So guys, I think we can actually move on with other things. Okay, I just take one last question. Can we change those settings you mentioned through phone? If you have Zoom app in your phone, yeah, definitely you can change. But in phone apps, your settings are limited. It's not that every single setting that I show you just now can used in phone app. So your phone app has a very limited setting, but it is good enough for you to schedule a meeting, and it's good enough for you to go ahead with your meeting. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to continue. I'm going to go through with you on how you can actually schedule a meeting. I will definitely come back for Q&A session. So please hold until I come back for Q&A session again. And I try my best to answer as much question as possible in my next round. All right. So I'm going to share my screen again to you guys. So hope you can see my screen now. So setting we have done. So I'm going to go for meetings now. So if you want to schedule your meeting, all right, so always make sure you are choosing the upcoming meeting, and from there you click this button, schedule a meeting. Okay, so when you go to schedule a meeting, of course they have this option for you. Outlook plugin for Zoom or Google Calendar plugin for Zoom and so on. At this moment, if you want, you can look into it, but it's not so important. Let us just quickly move into schedule a meeting. So as usual, my topic is I'm going to schedule a meeting on Zoom, a practical approach, right? So once I select my topic, I can actually key in my description. Now your description can be anything, and it is also optional. You want it, you put down. If you don't wish to have any description, it's okay, you can leave it. All right. Like for teachers, if you guys are conducting a class on a particular subject or on a particular topic, you can always write down, or you can always type down your subject and your topic over here. Right now, this is important because since you are scheduling your meeting, you need to actually specify when you want to conduct this meeting. All right, so let's say for example, I'm conducting my class or my meeting today, and I'm going to conduct it at 8 o'clock, 8 p.m. for example. All right, so I'm going to choose 8 p.m. All right, so selected, and you can select the duration. Right, so your duration can be as short as 15 minutes, and it can go up to many hours. But bear in mind, because we are using free version of Zoom, meaning that you can only go for your classes or your meeting for a maximum of 40 minutes. What happened after 40 minutes? You will be kicked out from the meeting. And if you want to continue, you have to join back with the same link, and you also have to get your participants to join back with the same link as well. Right? So please bear in mind it is 40 minutes maximum for now. Right? So I'm pretty sure you guys have a lot of questions there. I'm going to answer your questions in short while. Right? So time zone, please choose KL. All right? Meeting ID, this is where you have an option. You can choose personal meeting ID, whereby this is actually a fixed personal meeting ID. And if you think that you want to have a meeting ID which is dynamic, then you can choose generate automatically. Right? Now, what I meant about password just now is this particular area, right? Always make sure that you tick on require meeting password, and this is default. All right. So if you don't wish to use this password, or if it is quite complicated, you can actually type your own password. For example, I can type a password something like this. Okay. 007 for example. All right, so you can actually choose your password. You can always set your password. So in terms of video, you can, like for example, you as a host, you can always choose your video to be on, and for participants you can always choose the participants video to be on as well, mainly because you want to see your participants and you want to see how good they are, in what condition they are, and of course you want to remember their face. So make sure the participants video is also on. All right, now when it comes to audio, always choose computer audio so that you can use your computer speaker and you can use your computer microphones. All right, now meeting option is something interesting, but it is very basic. Let us look into the first option. Enable join before host. Now, as I told you just now, if you want to have a secure meeting environment, always make sure you join first, then only you admit your participants later. So make sure you don't tick this, otherwise unwanted people will go into your meeting and they will make a mess in your meeting in which you cannot correct it at the end of the day. So to be on the safe side, don't choose this, right? Mute participant upon entry. Now, this is actually a very important function. If you guys are conducting classes or meeting within a small group of participants, of course, you don't have to choose this, you don't have to tick this. But in case if you are conducting classes or meeting with a big group of audience, like for example, webinars whereby hundreds of participants are participating, it will be good if you choose mute participant upon entry. Why? Because if everyone is not muted, you will hear multiple sound, environment sound, echoing sound, and all unwanted sound, which can actually distract your presentation at the end of the day. All right, so look at your class, find out how big is your class is going to be, and you can decide whether to mute or whether to unmute. Right, this is another important security features. Always enable waiting room. All right, and then once you see the waiting room, you can actually admit your participants one by one. Right, now record the meeting automatically. I would advise not to choose this. Why? Because if you choose this, meaning that once you start to join the meeting, it will automatically record your meeting, whereby students may be joining one by one and you have a lot of time which are wasted in your recording. So once all the participants are in, you can actually start recording. So at this moment, you don't choose this, right? So once I've done all these settings, I can actually save. So it also depends on your internet speed, all right? Okay, let me try again. Okay, so once you have clicked the button save, all those things that you have key in just now, it will be displayed over here. All right, your topic, your time, your meeting ID, password, and so on and so forth. All right, now so meaning that you guys are ready to start your meeting. But if you want to invite your participants, what you can do is you can go to this particular area, the join URL. You can see there is a URL link here. You can actually copy the URL link, right? Click on copy the invitation, and you have this meeting invitation summary, right? Saying that who's inviting, what is the topic, what is the time, what is the date, what is the URL, and what is the ID, and what is the password. So what you can do is you can actually copy the meeting invitation, right? And if you have a WhatsApp group or Telegram group with your student, you can actually paste it over there. So once the student see your invitation, their job is to click on the link, and once they click on the link, they just key in their password and they will be able to join the meeting. All right. Alternatively, you can also add your meeting information into your Google Calendar or Outlook Calendar. So from there, you will be able to invite participants, right? So that is a second way of inviting participants into your meeting, all right? So let me go to my meeting now, right? You see, I have actually created one meeting yesterday, and these are the meetings that I've created just now. I don't know why I have two. Maybe I just delete one, all right? Okay, if you click too many save button, then yeah, you have redundant meeting here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a meeting now, and I'm going to go through how it looks like when you start a meeting. All right, so I'm going to use this meeting. I have one participants who are already waiting for the meeting, so I'm going to start the meeting now. All right, so I click start. So when I click start, it will pop up this dialog box asking you to open Zoom or no, right? So I click open Zoom. So when you click open Zoom, automatically the Zoom app will be downloaded into your desktop. So from there, you can just use Zoom app in order to schedule a meeting or join any meetings, right? So it will take some time to get it connected. If your internet speed is good, then it will be fast. If not, then you have to wait for some time. Okay. It is a bit slow now. Okay, so I am already in the meeting, right? So what I can see here is, let me check. I think you all can see the toolbar, right? When I click here, you can see the toolbar. But first thing is somebody was asking whether I can mute my audio or no. Yes, I click this button, I can mute my audio, right? And if I unclick this button, I'm actually unmuting my audio. So if I want to start my video, I just click on this. Okay, I have somebody waiting in the waiting room, so I just have to make sure the person can be admitted. Okay, let me just give me a second. So what I can do is I can actually manage my participant, right? I can see that one of my participants is actually waiting in my waiting room. So I can basically click admit, and once I click admit, so you have to wait for some time, right? So once I click admit, I already have the person in my meeting room, right? So in this case, I can also have chatting with my participants, right? So before I can chat and I can go on with a lot of other things, I just go through on some basic stuff with you guys, right? Let me see how I can actually start my video. Right. Okay, anyway, the video is having some problem, but it's okay. I will just assume that you are seeing me, yeah, but just that in a static version, all right? So this is what you can do, all right? So under mute, under audio, you can mute or unmute. And then when it comes to start video, you can also hide your video, or you can even start your video. So another important function that you can see here is on manage participants, all right? So when you click this, you already have your participants. So the more participants that are coming in, you can see more list over here. And from there, you can actually start admitting them one by one, all right? And for each and every participants, you can also unmute. For example, I can unmute this person and I can also mute this person. And on top of that, I can also ask the person to start a video. I can also make this person to host the entire meeting. And in worst cases, if the person is like giving me a lot of problem, I can also remove this problem, this particular person from the entire meeting or from the entire class. So this is how you can actually manage your participants. Now another area is the chat, all right? So if you have all your participants, you can actually have a public chat. Like for example, I can just type hi everyone, and I can send to everyone on I can basically send the same message to everyone, all right? And everyone will see this message, all right? Can I have some reply? Okay, so something like that. I mean, you can always communicate with your participants, and your participants will be able to give some kind of feedback or some kind of response to whatever things that you have chatted, all right? Now you can also have private chat. For example, if you click this button, it will give you a list of participants, and you can choose a specific participants in which you want to have a private chat, all right? So you can actually continue with your private chat, and yeah, you can just keep on chatting as long as there is something for you to chat, right? Now another good features when it comes to this Zoom group chat is file, all right? Let's say you want to share a file with your participants, all right? So I can click on file. I can choose where I want to, I mean, which file I want to share, for example, all right? I can just choose the file I want to share, and I can open it, and the file will be actually shared with all your participants. Of course, it will take some time depending on the size of the file, but eventually once it is uploaded, all your participants will be able to see the file, and they will be able to respond to you, right? Now other features is on this particular button at the corner here. Once you click, right, so you can actually choose to have safe chat. You can actually have participant can chat with no one. You can do this setting. You can also do a setting whereby participant can only chat with you, and you can also have a setting whereby participant can chat with everyone publicly, all right? So I always like to choose everyone publicly and privately, all right? So these are some options in which you can have settings in your group chat, all right? So now my file has been sent, all right? My participants able to view my file, and if you are giving them any exercises based on this file, they will be able to answer, and they will be able to send to you back through this group chat as well. So hope you guys can actually follow up. Now second thing is regarding recording, right? Just now you disable to record automatically, am I right? So now your meeting have started. you can actually start recording by clicking this button, right? So just a click and you already start recording, all right? So if you want to stop, you just click this button. If you want to pause, you can just click this button, and then from there you continue it. Okay, so recording is as easy as ABC for you to do it in Zoom, right? Now another important features when it comes to let me stop my recording. Another important features when it comes to Zoom is share screen. Now a lot of teachers, a lot of educators there, you want to share your PowerPoint slide or you want to share your documents with your student so that you can teach based on your PowerPoint, or you can actually teach based on your document. So in order for you to do that, the best thing is you can actually share your screen. But before you can actually share your screen, you can actually have some setting here. So you can see this button, right? So you can actually click on this button. You can choose one participant can share at a time. Like for example, I share, the rest cannot share. Or you can choose multiple participants can share simultaneously, meaning that I share, my student can share, my participant can share. So this is something that you have an option to choose from. If you wish to have advanced sharing option, you can just click on advanced sharing option. So this is what it says. How many participants can share at the same time? So you can choose one participant to share at a time, or multiple participants can share simultaneously, right? So if you choose one participant can share at a time, you can actually choose who can share, only host or all participants, right? And also you have this option who can start sharing when someone else is sharing. So you can always choose only host, meaning that if any student is sharing something, you can actually override your sharing by having your documents to be shared. All right, so all these are options that is available when you guys are having some sharing. So I move on to sharing screen here. Now when it comes to sharing screen, you click on sharing screen, you will definitely see this whiteboard. All right, now what is this whiteboard is all about is when you click on whiteboard, choose whiteboard and you click share. So your whiteboard is actually an empty whiteboard whereby you can actually type something. All right, you can type hi, okay, or you can use text, and this is a Zoom class, right? In fact, if you are having this whiteboard, you at the same time, your students or your participants can actually participate in this whiteboard at the same time. So there are a lot of features in whiteboard whereby it allow you to draw, allow you to stamp, like for example, like this, allow you to have spotlights, erase, format whatever things that you're supposed to do. You can undo, redo, clear. In fact, you can also save your whiteboard. All right, so a lot of features are there, especially for teachers who are teaching some kind of drawing in terms of physics, chemistry, or even mathematics. You can definitely use whiteboard in Zoom in order to conduct your classes, especially when it comes to subjects which require a lot of drawing. So that is on whiteboard. All right, so other than that, you can always go to when you are sharing your screen, all right, you can always besides choosing whiteboard, right, you can actually choose whatever files which are open, and you can actually share to them directly, right? In terms of advanced, you can actually share your music or computer sound, or you can even share your content from second camera, right? So besides that, you can also share your files in Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive, or even from your box. I mean, if you have saved all the files over there. All right, so a lot of good functions are there for you to actually choose and for you to share when it comes to when it comes to Zoom share screen. right? Sorry guys, I cannot actually use my video here. Why? Because I'm using my video in another app, StreamYard, in order to go live with you guys in YouTube. So if you see my video, I mean, you can actually always try on virtual background, all right? You can see how the virtual background works, and you can just keep on testing to keep on changing your virtual background. Let me just show you how this virtual background works, right? I minimize this. From here, I can actually go to my setting. For example, if you already downloaded the Zoom app, this is how your Zoom app looks like. You can always go to your setting. You can go to virtual background, and you can choose the virtual background that we have here, right? There are some virtual background which can keep on moving, like for example, in the beach or some kind of beautiful lights. There are some virtual background which are very static, like for example, static picture that you can actually choose from here, right? But unless you change your virtual background, the chosen virtual background will be there as long as your meeting is active. So that is on virtual background, right? So let me go back to Zoom, sorry, to your live chat again, right? So any question, guys, on this? I think we have covered quite a number of things with Zoom and so on. Can I have some questions so that I can answer yours and I can keep on moving to my last part? Can I paste a photo on whiteboard? At this moment, the functions in whiteboard is quite limited. You can only draw, you can only type something or scribble something. But in case if Zoom is having any updates, most probably you can also paste some photos in whiteboard. All right. So hope Zoom is working on that so that we can update the software and we can have this function enabled. All right. Any other questions? Where will be the recording file saved? Very good question, Hendra. Hendra, what you can do is you can go to your documents, all right, and you can see there are folders created under Zoom. All right. So if you go inside the folder, you will be able to see your whiteboard and your recording videos which are being saved. So that is where you can actually access to all your recorded meeting and also your whiteboards. Right. I can show you in short while. Right. Can this is from Tina? Can the whiteboard writing or note be saved? Tina, definitely yes. You can actually have. I mean, when you go to the whiteboard, there is a toolbar at the top, and you can see there is a save button. All right. So once you click the save button, it will be saved into your desktop, and from there you can actually use the file to share with your students. Okay, maybe you can share it in WhatsApp, or you can share it in Telegram, or you can even share it in the meeting itself as a file transfer. Okay. All right. So more and more questions are coming in. I mean, I'm happy to see that some of you have understood it. Some of you have understand the demo that has been given. But now the challenging part is you all have to go back and give a try. All right. And when you guys are trying, make sure you try with a small group. Maybe you try with your spouse, or maybe you try with your friend first. And if it is successful, maybe you can start conducting your classes. Now at Sagi College, Sagi group of colleges, we have tried this when we were told that we are going into movement control order. We are kind of puzzled on how we are going to conduct classes. But thank God we have Zoom, and all our lecturers are very, very familiar with Zoom and their setting, and also on how to conduct classes in Zoom. So the next day itself, on 18 March itself, we already started to conduct classes using Zoom, and it is very effective. Our students are very, very happy. Our students' parents are even happy. All right. So you guys can actually start doing it. All right. So if you are a tuition teacher, you can still engage with your student. If you are a teacher in primary school or secondary school, you can still engage with your students, right? So try to use this platform. It is a very good platform and you should start exploring on this, right? So guys, any other questions from you? Emily Gunn, yes, please try tonight. It is very helpful, it is very useful, and it is very interesting. So I have a question from Debbie. If we use the whiteboard, how we can know which participant do the task given there? Okay, this is a very critical question and also very good question. So as I told you, the whiteboard functions are quite limited at this moment. We have to bear with it until the software is updated. Or let's say if you have upgraded your basic plan to a pro plan or to advanced plan, probably the whiteboard has more features whereby you can identify your students. So if you think that Zoom is something worth for you to invest, probably you can invest into the pro version or advanced version, and you can start exploring on how this whiteboard can work, right? Okay, any other questions? Okay, we have from me, say if we need to highlight some text that I have typed, can I use the drawing pen to circle it? Me, definitely, yes, definitely, no problem. In fact, you can actually highlight, you can bold whatever text that you have actually typed. So it's not a problem, right? Kalaivani, interesting. Thank you for your question. Can we take attendance of participants? Yes, Kalai. But unfortunately, in Zoom, there is no functions for you to take attendance. However, if you happen to see list of participants in your meeting room, you can actually choose, you can use their names to take their attendance. I mean, that is what we are actually doing in Segi group of colleges at this moment. So when a student registers to join our classes or our meeting, we ask them to use their name as their user ID. All right. So once they are in, we know their names, and from there we take their attendance. All right. Can the same password use multiple meeting? Yes, Surya Murthy, definitely, no problem. But my sincere advice is every time you are conducting different meeting at different time and at the different date, it will be good if you have a different password, something which you are familiar with, right? Just for safety purpose, all right? Okay, any other questions? Can phone Zoom use virtual background? Trisha, this is something that I have not explored yet, and give me some time to give a try because all of us are very much attached to our laptop and desktop. So once we try it, we will update you in the YouTube. Right, and if you go, I mean, once it is updated there, hopefully you can come back and you can actually learn some tricks from us. Thank you, Trisha. Thank you for highlighting this question to us. Okay, guys, the next thing I want to share with you guys is the Zoom app itself. All right, let me share the screen with you. Okay. What I'm going to do now is my meeting. I think you all are quite familiar with this now. So a lot of things you can actually explore on your own and just try to keep on testing and trying out until you are very much familiar with what is going on in Zoom. I can guarantee you that Zoom is the most simplest and most friendliest tool that you can have at this point of time. All right. And just try to get familiar, and once you start using it, you will definitely like it. Just bear in mind on the security issues. All right, so I'm going to end my meeting. So if I'm going to end my meeting, so I just click on end meeting. All right, so once I'm out, my participants will be automatically out as well. All right, so I can just click on end meeting, and when you end meeting, make sure you end meeting for all, because if you don't do that, there will be some ghost in your meeting who will still exist in your meeting room, and they may actually create some problems to other participants. All right, so make sure you choose end meeting for all, so that you leave, everyone also leave at the same time, right? So I'm going to end meeting here. All right, so I'm going to show you. All right, so this is convert meeting recording. Remember, I have recorded the video, so this is where I can actually access my video. All right, so I go to document. Under document, the Zoom folder will be automatically created. All right, so click on Zoom folder. So these are all the meetings that I have conducted. Just look for the folder for the meeting that you have recently attended or the recently you have conducted. I believe that this is the recent one, because I have the topic, I have the date and the time. I click open, I can see my whiteboard. Hope there is something in the whiteboard. Okay, so remember, I type this. In fact, it is auto save. You can actually use this whiteboard. You can share with your student later. And this is the video that I have actually recorded through my meeting. So in my video, I have my face. For example, I have my participant's face. And whenever I share any screen, the thing will be also captured in my video. So it's not a problem. The entire meeting will be basically captured in the video, so you can access to your video, you can access to your whiteboard. All right, so no problem on recordings, right? So the last thing I want to cover is on the app. Now your app will be automatically downloaded and installed into your desktop or laptop the first time when you are starting a meeting. All right, so your Zoom app in your desktop or laptop will actually look something like this. So you have home, you have chat box, you have meetings, especially those meetings that you have scheduled, and you have all the contacts that you had previously. All right. So under home, normally these are the 4 buttons that you really have to work it out. So if you want to schedule a meeting, you can actually schedule a meeting by clicking on this, and you can key in all those information as what I taught you just now. And you can also look into advanced option, right? You can choose whichever you want, as what we have discussed just now, and you can actually start scheduling your meeting. All right, so when you guys are scheduling your meeting, let's say for example, I'm going to schedule a meeting today. Maybe I schedule it at 7 p.m. and keep on filling up this, and I schedule. So once I schedule this meeting, all right, normally scheduling meeting will take some time. All right, so you have to be patient. So the meeting has been scheduled. So this is my meeting topic, and this is my time, this is my meeting ID. Sorry, I didn't set password because I have taught you how to set password. So when you guys are scheduling meeting yourself, make sure the password is chosen, right? So this is how I can start my meeting, and this is where I can copy the invitation. So once I copy, right, so once I click copy, automatically the invitation is copied. So I can go to my WhatsApp or Telegram, and I can paste my so-called the invitation, right? So that is one thing. And another thing is, if let's say someone is inviting you to join the meeting, all right, so what you can do is you can click on join meeting, and you just copy and paste the URL, copy and paste the link provided, and automatically from there you can actually click the button join, and you will be able to join the meeting already. All right, so the hint here is you need to get the link from the sender. You paste it here, you type your username, and then you choose all these options whether you want it or no, and then from there you click join. You will be automatically will be in the waiting room for the host to admit you, right? So that is how simple it is when we guys, I mean when we are actually using the Zoom app. All right, so make sure your Zoom app is downloaded, And make sure whenever you are conducting or when you are organizing a meeting or you are joining a meeting, you can actually join through the Zoom app. It is easier rather than going to the web and joining through the web. All right. So let me get back to this part. Okay, guys. So I have actually done the entire so-called demonstration for you on how to use Zoom. I know that it is kind of slightly fast. Why? Because we don't have that much of time to cover one by one and also try to give a practical and hands-on session. But what you can do is this particular video will be definitely saved in our YouTube. So whenever you guys are confused, whenever you guys want to learn more things in detail, and you want to go through step by step on how to do your setup and how you can actually launch your Zoom meeting, you can always view this video multiple times to understand in detail and also how you can actually go about it in setting up Zoom meetings. All right. So the next thing I want to actually ask you is a question that I would like to have sincere answer from all the lecturers. So let me just share this. Okay, guys. Okay, lecturers. Oh, sorry, teachers. Teachers, tuition teachers, and educators. I want to have your opinions here. Right. So the question is: do you agree that online learning is the next big thing in education? So I want to have sincere opinion from educators, teachers, and anyone who participated in today's webinars on why online learning is going to be the next thing and also why not. I just need your sincere opinion on this so that we can actually discuss further and also it can help us to plan out more webinars and more practical session for you guys. All right, so that you can start exploring with online tools and you can use these tools for your teaching and learning. So let us hear from some of you before we can end up our today's session. Okay, I can see some answers are coming in. Susan say yes, Michelle say yes. So it is good to see that many educators are looking at the brighter side that online education is the next big thing, right? And I think COVID-19 also have opened up our eyes, especially when it comes to online learning. Am I right? Because we can't meet our student face to face, we cannot engage with our student face to face. So the only choice is online learning, right? And we really have to move towards this. All right, Surya Murthy, agree as the learning and teaching. Oh God, it got mixed up there. But I like your answer, Surya. Thanks for your answer. So quite a number of you are saying yes. Can I know why also, if you don't mind? So Clara is saying yes, it is certainly is because this is an ICT area. Definitely, Clara. We are moving in Industry Revolution 4.0, whereby ICT literacy is definitely important for our student. Not only for student, for educators as well. So if industry is moving in that particular speed, IR 4.0, so we don't want to be left out. So this is the time for us to learn all the online tools so that we can actually utilize them and we can teach them what is IT literacy among our students. So higher education already moving towards that. So now the challenge is how schools, primary schools and secondary schools are moving towards this. So in order for us to do that, we need to have a good collaboration between higher education and also the primary schools and secondary schools. And I'm pretty sure we can do that, right? So can I have some good answers or some great answers from participants? Dharmendra, yes, but again, ensure our internet line are all covered, especially in rural area. Definitely, I have to agree on this. Thanks for bringing up Dharmendra. Good point. Some other points? All right, Haslinda, yes, because we can link and engage with our student anytime, anywhere they are. Yes, I do agree with this. Sagi, Sagi group of colleges, we are always moving towards online learning, blended learning, flipped classroom, and we have actually introduced a lot of tools whereby our students can learn online. One main objective is why, because we don't want the learning to be just restricted within four walls, within a classroom environment. We want them to learn anytime, anywhere. So we also have some feedback from Mr. Lai. Yes, this tool helps us to be an efficient educator and another option to learn. Yes, definitely, definitely. Thank you. Thank you for your feedback. Okay. Yes, for adult, but not for preschooler. Okay, Christy Ong, I think you have your own stand on this. Maybe if you can elaborate more detail, we can look into how we can go about it. Okay, and we can definitely help you guys in order to move for online learning, especially for preschool students as well. Pearly Lim, yes, it saves time and well organized prior to actual classroom. Yes, Pearly, you are right. You are right. Mr. Tan, Mr. or Miss, I'm not really sure. It's a good point from you. Thank you for your point. So we can hear for a few more comments. Fong, a combination of both online and face-to-face will be good. Yes, Fong, I do agree with you. So sometimes what we can do here is we can teach students online, especially on concept and theories. But when it comes to face-to-face, this is where we can engage them with activities. We can actually engage them with facilitation, we can engage them with problem based learning and some other pedagogies or andragogies in which they can learn further for them to develop their knowledge. Yeah, definitely it has to be combining both. Okay, efficient educator and another option to learn. Yes, definitely, definitely. All right. Now, another thing, educators, I just want to share with you guys. Since Zoom having some security issues, and a lot of us are also fully aware of this, and if you are kind of hesitant to use Zoom because you are afraid of security issues and so on, we also have some other alternative for you. All right, I'm going to share my last screen, all right, so that I can actually go through with you what are the tools that we can actually use for as an alternative to Zoom. Okay, before we go into alternative tool, I just want to share with you guys on best practices in using Zoom. The first thing is use a unique ID for large and public Zoom calls. So if can, try to use generate automatically features so that every time you are calling for a meeting, every time you are conducting classes online, your ID is automatically generated. This is the first thing that you have to make sure in order for you to have a secure Zoom. Second point is you need to have a password whenever you are conducting a Zoom session. So make sure password is something compulsory that you set before you can even start your meeting. All right. Create waiting room. I think I did mention about this just now. So make sure all of us are alert and all of us enable the waiting room. All right. Number 4 is only the host should share their screen. So if let's say your meeting or your classes is going to be one session, then you just have to make sure only you can share your screen and not others. All right. And number 5 is create an invite only meeting. So this is where you just need to copy your invitation and make sure you have your participants' email and you send the invitation through the email. All right. Sometimes when you copy and paste in WhatsApp or Telegram, your invitation can be forwarded to other people and you may not know who's joining and who's not joining. All right. So it is very crucial for you to go by invitation. All right. Now, next thing is lock a meeting once it started. All right. Now, lock function is available when it comes to managing your participants. So you can click the dot 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 button there, and you can choose lock meeting. So when you are locking meeting, it means that your meeting is cannot be. No one can join your meeting anymore, and no one can basically participate in your meeting anymore. So this is good because you are avoiding other people to join halfway in your meeting, right? Kick someone out or put them on hold. This is also very important. If you know that some people are not doing what they are supposed to do, especially listening, then you can kick them out. Okay. Disable someone's camera. This is actually an option, but if you are doing a webinar, it is always good for you to disable their camera. Otherwise, you have a lot of noises, right? You can always prevent animated GIF and other files in chat. You can choose what are the files is allowed to be shared and which are the files that has to be blocked. And you can always choose disable private chat. So if you don't trust your participants or your participants are too public, then you can actually disable the private chat. Okay, so these are some tips for you to make your Zoom session to be more secure. So my last slide is alternative to Zoom. Okay, so if you are still not confident with Zoom, if you think that Zoom still impose some security problem, then you can actually use Skype as one of your option. Google Hangout, another option. Microsoft Team, WebEx, FaceTime, and Jitsi Meets. Right? I think some of the teachers are also using Google Meet. So all these are other alternative tools that we can always use besides Zoom. So you really have to go inside those websites. You have to explore them, and you can just try to do some testing in order to see whether which are the tools which is more suitable for you and also for your students at the end of the day. Right? So with that, I hope the information that I've provided is good enough. And I really hope that all of you have learned something and all of you have actually get some information from whatever things that I've presented. And lastly, I would like to thank all of you for your time, for your effort, and also for your dedication to keep on learning from time to time. So I really appreciate you guys, really respect all of you. And at Segi Group of Colleges, we are planning and also arranging a lot of webinars, all right? And those webinars are actually being organized, and sooner or later you will get to know what are those webinars. So I really hope all the teachers can actually participate in our webinars to learn concepts, to learn theories, and also to go through some practical session with us, right? So if you have any questions, any doubts, or anything you want to clarify, or if you want us to come to your place to conduct training, especially after MCO is lifted, definitely we can do so, right? So please stay in touch, and good luck for all of your classes and Zoom session. Thank you. Pass to you, King.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Krishna, for today's webinar. Okay, organized by Segi Group of Colleges, titled A Practical Approach for Online Discussions and Sharing with Zoom. So I'm sure all of us today have some very good takeaway tips and guides, all right, especially on the security settings and Zoom. So next is actually, hang on, all right, I would like to show you this link to all participants. Is actually for your attendance, all right, for your attendance. Okay, this attendance is actually you need to fill up in order to get your digital certificates. Okay, digital certificates. So I hope that you can actually fill up this form at the end of the sessions, right? And once again, right, thank you so much for all the participants here. Very active in participations and also interacting with a lot of questions. I know there's a lot of questions posted on this webinar. Very sorry we can't answer all due to time constraint and also too overwhelming the questions. And I'm sure all of you already have good experience. And next sessions is actually upcoming. Next sessions. Okay, please show the next. Okay, this is okay. Next sessions for our upcoming webinar. on the 10th April. Sorry, it's actually next week, right? Next week on the 13th April, on the Web 2.0 technologies for 21st century teaching and learning. All right, this is actually our next webinar. All the participants can actually go and register. Okay, go and register now. Right, and next slide, please. Okay, and to those who wanted to know more about our programs, you can actually join this Telegram, because sometimes we can actually broadcast to all the participants on the next webinar. Right. Okay, once again, thank you so much to all the participants, and stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, King.